Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to talk about when is a good time to buy a stock. Now maybe you've seen some of my past videos, you're not going to make the mistakes that a lot of beginners make. You know what a stock is, you know how to buy a stock, and basically you want to start putting some money into the market little by little. But what do you buy? Do you buy Amazon, Google, Apple? Should you buy them right now? And some people look at it in different ways. Some people think this stock is going up, and it's going to continue to go up, so I should get it and buy it. This is kind of more of a FOMO strategy, or fear of missing out. It's something I try to avoid as much as possible. I think should be avoided as much as possible. But I think it gets to everyone now and then, but for the most part you can keep it under wraps. Then some people see a stock just flat, like for a long time, and they think, oh man, this is like where it's going to break out, I better get in quickly. And a lot of times it doesn't break out, it just goes back down, or it stays flat. It doesn't always mean just because it's flat it's going to go back up. And then there's times where a stock's just been tanking. It's been going down, 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 down. It's been going down for so long, and they think, this is it, it's got to go back up to the levels it was at, right? But if there was some major change in the company, or maybe some scandal, and the company's not the same, there's a chance it might not go back up. And so basically all three of these scenarios are not how you decide whether it's worth buying a stock or not. Now with ETFs and index funds, that's a little bit different because you're just going to make money over the long term regardless due to appreciation. So you can start dabbling into that little by little if you want, but we're going to kind of go towards the more individual stock route in this video. Now there's a lot of things I look into before I buy a stock, and I could probably ramble on about it for about 45 minutes, but most of the people that watch this channel are beginner investors, so we're going to keep it simple. The first thing I'll look into when I buy a stock is the business model. And first of all, I have to understand the business model myself. And second of all, I have to believe that it's a good business model that can be run by a large portion of the population. For example, Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla, but he's not always going to be the CEO of Tesla. I'm sure one day he's not going to be there. So I might like Elon Musk a lot, which I do, but who's going to take over after he's gone? That's very different. So I believe Warren Buffett said a quote along these lines, and I'll post on the screen, but he said, make sure that whoever's running that company, any moron can do it, because someday someone will. And that's the truth. One day, Steve Jobs isn't around anymore, so some other clown have to run it, and I'm not saying Tim Cook's a clown by any means, but you get the idea, someone else has to take over for that company one day. The next thing I'll look into is how that company's been growing from year to year. How's that company grown over the last 5 years? Have they continued to bring in more revenue? Do they have consistent business? Do they have more business? Where is that industry going to go in the next 5 years, 10 years, 30 years? That type of thing. After that, I create some sort of plan, and this isn't like an elaborate blueprint to build a house or something like that. It can be a pretty basic plan, but basically I try to come to the conclusion where that company is going to go and what I want to do with my money with that company over the next 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. I shoot for at least a 5-year plan. I'd love to hold it forever. But I want to make sure that company's going to be around a long time based on where that industry is and where that company's going. I'll ask myself questions like, is there any way I can not make money in this company? Is the company going to continue to progress over the next 5 to 30 years? How does the guidance that that company is putting out correlate to my thoughts on the company? What new products is that company working on? Have they been innovating, and will they continue to innovate in the future? And am I going to be comfortable holding this stock for a long period of time if it's down for a long period of time? Say a virus breaks out and the stock just continues to tank, like a lot of stocks were a month ago, maybe not so much anymore. But you get the idea. All these things I ask myself and I honest with myself about before I put my money in a company. And the next thing I look into is the company undervalued? And this might be the most obvious one, but it's also the most important one. And you can do things like this by comparing the company to its competitors, price to earnings ratio, price to book ratio, price to cash flow ratio, cash flow in general. And all these things we're going to cover in different videos, just not in this one. You can look at a company with a business model you like say Apple, if it's at $300, and then something occurs in the economy or the world and Apple starts to go down, like this virus for example, but the business model doesn't change at all. And yes, they're going to see short-term effects in sales, but the long-term outlook really doesn't change all that much. So that would be a good example of when a company is undervalued. And it's not always going to be like that, because that's more of a slam dunk thing, but you get the general idea. At the end of the day, if the company's going to be well positioned, then they're going to recover from something like this and they're going to come out on the other side much stronger over the long term. In saying that, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you take some of these into consideration when you start buying stocks and you start finding stocks at good value. And I'll see you guys in the next video.